Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream on our channel. My name is Hazik and we're going to be taking a look at the altcoin market today. We're going to be taking a look at the $10,000 portfolio that I gave all of you all the way back in June of this year, and we'll see how well it's doing today. If you want to send us your altcoin down below in the comments or in the live chat rather. We'll take a look at some of the requests by the end of the live stream. But for now, I just want to do a market overview. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at what some bullish coins are doing, some of the coins that we have been following for quite a while. Let me just make sure that everything's working. Okay. Abhiram, how are you doing, my friend? Good afternoon. It's already evening where I'm at, but good afternoon to you. So the live stream is doing fine, I think. You can go into 1080p. All right. So let's quickly take a look at Bitcoin's price action. This is our weekly chart from Bitstamp, and we have a Fibonacci here. Let me just remove the larger one. So we've got this fib from the bottom in August all the way up to the local top in March 2024. Our 1.618 was sitting at $94,000, and $109,000 is our second fib level. So that overextension at the $109,000 could be our target before the end of the year and before we see a retracement in the markets. Keep in mind, some countries, or in some countries, residents may end up selling their assets before the new year kicks off because that way they can avoid paying taxes. For example, in the Netherlands, and I learned this recently from one of my patrons, some people sell their crypto and they buy back at the beginning of January. So there could be lots of buying pressure in January, and January usually is a bullish month. But December, or towards the end of December or the second half of December, we could see a retracement, and that would be a very good opportunity for all of you to get into your altcoins. Pentarus, good evening. How are you doing, my friend? Great to have you. And welcome everyone who's joining. Make sure to leave a like, and let's jump into the portfolio. So we just looked at Bitcoin briefly and what I see happening before the end of the year. If you go to the monthly chart, and let's remove all of the drawings here, you can see the monthly is doing pretty healthy. Now, this was our parabolic move after this retracement. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, 6 green candles in a row. Right now we have 1, 2, 3. This is our fourth, and then 5 will be January, 6 will be February. So in February, we might have a retracement according to the previous cycle. But again, you can't really base your targets on previous cycles. They do rhyme, history does rhyme, but it does not repeat one for one. That's one thing. The other thing is that in February, after the Chinese New Year, we usually see a retracement. So that happens because the Chinese traders just step away from the markets, and that causes some assets to drop in price because there's not a lot of volume, not a lot of selling or buying. And Dave Smith says it's the same in the USA. I guess it's the same in the USA, yeah. But if you sell in the US, if you sell and you make profits with your crypto, I think you are paying taxes on that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. There's no way you don't, there's no way that you sell your crypto and you don't pay your taxes. Susorg. Good evening, I'm Ricardo from Mar del Plata, Argentina. I'm on EGLD. Hello, Ricardo. I remember you. Very glad to have you once again on our live stream. We'll take a look at EGLD. What's your average entry into EGLD? Let me know. So if we go to our channel page, just briefly here. Welcome everyone who's joining the live stream. Feel free to send your altcoin. And we'll be taking a look at some of them towards the second half of the live stream. So just want to quickly take you to our channel. You can take a look at the past live streams. This is where this live stream will be right after we're done. But if we go to the live section here on the channel and we go back to June, we did a $10,000 portfolio. So this was 5 months ago or so. And the question that I was asked is, where would you put $10,000 right now? Like when we were sitting right there at that point in the market. And I give you a little spreadsheet. I showed you all our purchases. And right now what I want to do is I want to take you back to that portfolio just to show you what would have happened if you invested that $10,000 the way I showed you to. And of course, I didn't tell you to do that. This was not financial advice. This was just simply me entering what I thought to be safe projects, and all of them are in profit. The portfolio is up 51% at the moment. That's $5,000. So let's say you invested $100,000, you would have been up by $50,000. That's our cost basis there at 10,000. Our best performer is Altura, and the worst performer is Boson. And by worst, I mean a 3x for Boson, guys. We were entering Boson before that, way before it was sitting at 35 cents. But in June, at the time of that portfolio, this was our entry point. So hopefully you got into some of these coins. Let's quickly break this down. So Near Protocol, my top AI pick. This is my top coin in my personal portfolio that you can check out on Patreon. And by the way, the link to my Patreon is going to be down below in the description if you want to get access to my portfolios that you see on the left-hand side. I show you all of my trades, all of my holdings. There's a 7-day free trial you can get access to. And on top of that, what you can also do is you can take a look at our Cryptomaniac tier. It's around 54 bucks American, 78 Canadian, and we only have 5 spots remaining. So if you'd like me to go through your portfolio, if you want weekly 30-minute calls, if you want TA lessons, and you want more personal one-on-one connection, I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you what I would do with your portfolio. What are my thoughts? How would you rebalance it perhaps to maximize some gains? And we're uploading videos on a constant basis here on Patreon. And we got into Orca recently, which we're going to take a look at soon on this live stream. But that's just a quick little plug-in for my Patreon. And back to the portfolio. Near Protocol, we entered at $5.63. And we put in, if I can actually get my, let me get the Excel sheet for you. I don't think I have the, okay, I do have it. Let's open that up. Okay. There we go. So this is our spreadsheet. And this is what we, oh, can you see that or you can't? I don't think you can see that, right? Give me 1 second. There we go. So this is the spreadsheet that we were showing you in June. So we had Near Dot. So for Near, we allocated 30% of our portfolio. For Dot, we allocated 10% of our portfolio. For Fetch, we allocated 15%, IMX 15%, Arkham 10%, Mina Protocol 5%, GLQ 5%, Boson Protocol 5%, Altura 5%. The color coding here is on the right side, and you can see that the high caps were in orange, the mid caps were in blue, the low caps were in yellow, and this was their risk level. So obviously the high caps were sitting at low risk, medium caps were sitting at medium risk, and low caps were sitting at high risk. And Altura turned out to be the best investment out of all of these. And right now I'm going to tell you what I would do with this portfolio if you invested the same way that I did in this portfolio. And again, just to clarify, I did not invest my actual $10,000 in this portfolio. I own most of these coins, but this was just an experimental 10K portfolio just to show you what I would do if I was entering the market at that point in time in June. So let's go back to our screen. And let's take a look at our percentage gains. So Near up 38%, Fetch or Artificial Superintelligence Alliance up 44%, Immutable X up 21%, Altura up 262%, Polkadot up 70%, Arkham up 28%, GraphLink up 54%, Mina Protocol up 43%, Boson Protocol up 41%. So the portfolio is doing great. This is more than the stock market could ever give you guys. 50% is incredibly massive for the S&P, or if you're sitting in stocks in general, unless you're in something like MicroStrategy or Tesla. Like 50% is something that you don't even dream about. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably take some profits on these coins here. And the first one that I'd like to take profits on is Polkadot. So what I'm going to do with Polkadot is I'm going to take out the initial investment, transfer out. Hold on. So we're going to sell approximately 1,000 of, let me see, 100. Just want to make sure that there we go. So around 100. Yeah. So, okay, let's do around 100. Let's do 95, 94. So we'll sell 94 coins at the current value. Okay. We're just taking out our initial investment from Polkadot because Polkadot could potentially do a 4 or 5x from here, but I don't think it's going to be doing a 10 to 20x. So we'll hold this for an AI project that we're going to be looking into. Immutable X, it's a gaming coin, top gaming coin. So I would say we can still hold this. Fetch, we can probably still hold this. Near Protocol, I'd still hold this. Altura, so we're going to take out our initial investment on Altura. This did really, really well. So we're going to sell approximately $500 worth of coins. So let's see. So 3,300, because I don't want to do the counting right now. Okay. Okay, so 3,475 coins at the current value. Okay, so we took out our initial investment, and we still have some coins remaining. So let's just update the portfolio. It never hurts to take some profits off the table. There we go. And I don't think it's okay. It's not loading through right now, but essentially we took $500 off of this. And then with everything else, I'm going to leave my GraphLink. I'm going to leave the Arkham here. I'm going to leave Boson, Mina Protocol. This is up 43%. So I'm probably going to sell the entire Mina protocol bag, because I think there are other coins that we can look into that are going to do very, very well. So we're going to sell our entire Mina bag here. There we go. So now we have approximately $2,200 to reinvest into some other projects. And there we go. So Altura updated, Polkadot also updated. So essentially Polkadot and Altura are our profits. So this is just going off from our profits. We don't care if this goes back to zero. We took out our initial investment. We can deploy that into something else. Maybe we can dollar cost average into some of the existing positions. And I'll give you the update with that tomorrow in tomorrow's live stream. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with the remaining 2,200. I'm definitely not going to deploy all of it immediately, because I do want to keep some money on the sidelines in case we have a retracement in December. So that's the update for the $10,000 portfolio. Like I said, this is just an experimental portfolio. We do have some experimental portfolios on our Patreon, like the $100 and the $10 portfolios. And we have our main portfolio, but that's it for the $10,000 portfolio. We'll do another update tomorrow. Now let's start looking at some of your requests, guys. And probably the first one that we're going to do is going to be Orca, because that one is doing really, really good. And believe it or not, we got into Orca like a few weeks ago at $3.45. So this was somewhere over here, I believe. We got into it. Yeah, so we were getting into it over here at the beginning of November. And this is a DEX on Solana. So if we go to DeFi Llama, let's go to DeFi Llama, and I just want to compare the volume. Okay, there we go. DEX's volume. Let me know if the stream is doing fine. Let me know if everything is doing fine. The audio and the video should be doing fine. Okay, so let's go ahead. There we go. Look at this. Orca number 6 sitting at $568 million. So what happened with Orca was that we had a Binance listing, which was a very, very timely event, because like I said, we just entered on Patreon at $3.45. Sorry, not, was it $3.45? Something around $3.40. And essentially what happened, they announced on December 6th, which is yesterday, that Orca is getting a Binance listing. And since then, it has been trading on Binance since December 6th. Now look at the volume here. Binance is doing $61 million. I believe yesterday this was doing $160 million, 24-hour volume. And the reason we were bullish on Orca is not because only the market cap was very low, but also the fact that we did not have a Binance listing. We did have a Coinbase listing, a Kraken listing, but not a Binance one. And that really, gave us a nice 2x push, even more than the 2x. I believe on KuCoin it went to like $9 something. So you could have done a 3x realistically. And I also traded this for my friend, because I'm trading for a few of my friends. I can actually show you his portfolio. So this is his portfolio. He's got like 70K right now. He invested around 28K. So what we ended up doing is we bought some Orca. So look at this. November 23rd, we got into Orca at $3.54. I put in $5,000, and then we doubled, and I took out the initial investment, or around the initial investment. And now everything else is just pure profits. So yeah, that's how we trade on Patreon. We do have a lot of good entries on Patreon, so make sure to check that out if you're looking to enter. Because, for example, Penteros here wants to enter Orca. What is the price you should be looking at? Let's see. Now, to be honest, I don't think you're getting $3.45 again, unless we have a correction. some sort of a correction here. So yeah, we went all the way up to $9.85. If you had some limit orders set up here, you could have taken profits and then bought back in like 30% cheaper. But of course, that's risky. You don't want to set up a lot of limit orders like that, because sometimes a project can start pumping and then the pump will just not finish until it does like a 5x in a day. So be careful doing that. So what you want to be targeting here is potentially $5.50. That's going to be a really good entry for Orca. Again, don't go all in at that point. You also have $4.17. So these are going to be two levels for you to eyeball. Again, are we going to come back down to the 20 EMA on the weekly? I don't know. We're just starting to get into the overbought. We could have a continuation of this parabolic rise for Orca, because again, this is a DEX on Solana, and Solana is the biggest layer one at the moment. So I don't know if you want to be taking profits right now. If you want to take out your initial investment like I did with my friend's portfolio, you can do that. I personally weren't able to sell at like $7.70 or whatever, $7.70 or 30 cents. So I'm still holding. I'm still up around 2x, and I'll be waiting until we start getting past some of these here, some of these levels there for our TPs or take profits. And if you want an exit strategy for Orca, we'll be dropping that on Patreon very, very soon, probably today. So $5.55, $4.17, those are your optimal entry points for Orca if you want to catch the next move to the upside. But again, there's no guarantee that it's going to come back down that low. Elorm, how are you doing, my friend? Very nice to have you. Let's see. So Ton Native Vidade says, check Buddy, bully artificial intelligence. Is that a meme coin? Looks like a meme coin. I can't find bully, unfortunately. Maybe you're... Yeah, I'm not sure what that coin is. And Ricardo, your average entry is $31 on EGLD. That's a really good entry. I think it's sitting around $1 billion market cap, 1.5 actually. I do hold EGLD at the moment. I do hold EGLD. Just give me 1 second. So EGLD hasn't been performing as well as some of the other layer ones, which is a little bit disappointing to some. And it might turn around very soon, but we'll see. I may not be holding EGLD for a very long time. I might want to take some profits earlier and recycle that into a more bullish project that can potentially do like a 20x, a 30x, something like Nosana perhaps. But we essentially back tested the same low that we had in September 2023. Let's see if there's less than 3% difference. Yeah, it's around 3% difference. So this can technically be considered a double bottom pattern, because as long as there's a around 3% difference between the two lows, it would still be considered a double bottom. So you have your first bottom here, your second bottom here, and then you've got your neckline, which is over here. So what you want to do is you want to take a trend line from the bottom there. I like targeting the bodies of the candles, not the wicks. And then we drag that up all the way to the neckline. And then we place the trend line at the neckline, at the top of the neckline, because wherever we break out, it's going to be the same target because it's a horizontal resistance. There's no difference. So let's assume with this move to the upside, we're going to run into $70 again as resistance. That could be a good area to take some profits. If you're looking to sell EGLD or maybe take out your initial investment, $70 is going to be a really good area. And then your target from the double bottom is going to be around $237. That's what I'm seeing here with that pattern, and that lines up nicely with the second fib level off of this low and this high from December 2023. So once we break the December 2023 high, you're going to be looking at $153 first. That's going to be your 1.618. And then you're looking at your second fib at $241. That's just my midterm outlook for EGLD. Can I get back to the all-time high prices? I think it's possible, but keep in mind, 90% of coins do not retrace back to their all-time high. They don't break their all-time high in the second cycle. So you want to have the math on your side. So if you're super overexposed to some older projects from previous cycles, then you kind of want to play it a little safer. The only thing with EGLD is it's not really an old coin because it listed quite literally during the previous bull market. And we had entered the bull market a few months prior to the listing here. So it didn't even go through a full cycle beforehand. That's why I don't think we can consider EGLD an old coin. Now, can it underperform even if it's a new coin? Of course it can. So that's why you have to have your targets set up straight in advance before we even start this parabolic rise. You should already have your targets ready and set to go. And what you can also do is add the same Fibonacci to the all-time high there. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get to $944. That's a little bit too much in my opinion. What I do think is that you can use $424 and $225 as good take profit zones. And then from the current price all the way up to the all-time high, that's 911%. From the all-time high, we're still down 90%. So if you see a coin today that's down 90% from its all-time high, there's a high chance that that coin is not coming back up to that all-time high. So it depends on your targets, Ricardo. I even have some EGLD on stake in Xportal Multiverse X app, EGLD plus 130% the last 30 days. Yeah, EGLD did go up. Obviously, that's great. But will it go back up to the same all-time high price at $540? I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to feed you some big YouTuber prices because I could be sitting here all day telling you that EGLD is getting to $1,000. You can sell at $1,000 on the dot. Big round numbers, but I don't want to do that because I don't want you guys to sit through another 4 years with your filled up bags. I want you to sell with me before the top. And then I want you to stay on the channel, stay on the Patreon, and we'll start sweeping the lows during the next bear market in 2026. So Abhiram says, how much lower can Bitcoin go if we see a correction? So that is if we see a correction. Do I think Bitcoin can see a retracement at this point? Yes, that's possible because we're already in the overbought. We're a bit overextended on the weekly chart from the 20 EMA. Let's actually take a look at the monthly. So the monthly is not super overextended. As you can see, we just started our liftoff. So we could still have 2 months of straight growth. So December, January, and February can be months of growth. Within those months, we might have like a 5 to 10% retracement, maybe. That is possible. That will be like a quick little flash crash retracement. that will provide you guys with an opportunity to get into your altcoins. And because of that, you want to have buy limit orders set up on your exchanges, whether it's a DEX that has limit orders or if it's a centralized exchange, you want to have those limit orders ready and set to go, because when Bitcoin dips, it's 4 a.m. your local time, Bitcoin dips, you're asleep, your USDT is not sitting in a limit order. By the time you wake up, everything reverses up and you missed out on these bottom prices. So in order to avoid that mistake, just set up some buy limit orders for your altcoins. And if they get filled up, they get filled up. Simple as that. But how much can Bitcoin drop? What is the potential price here for Bitcoin to drop? Let's see. Okay. So $87,000 would be your first level. And then if you break $87,000, you have $78,000, $281. And technically speaking, you can even come back down as low as 65,000. But I don't think that's going to be happening. A 30% crash is a little too much at this point in time. I would see a 30% crash from like $116,000 maybe in February or in January. A 30% crash taking us down to 80 grand. Yes, that would be possible. If you go back to the previous bull market, we had a correction here. We dropped approximately, that was a 55% correction, guys, during a bull market. So this is what I'm anticipating for Bitcoin in this cycle too. That's why I suggest you guys start taking profits in March, April, and possibly May, because after April, May, you could have this large correction after Bitcoin prints an all-time high. From there, Bitcoin could start going up, but it may not print a new all-time high in the second half of 2025. So some altcoins may continue running, printing new all-time highs. Bitcoin is probably going to print a lower high, and from there it's going to go to another bear market. So be careful holding all of your assets through this April-May correction that we are most likely going to have in 2025. That's very, very important. We're going to have a massive rally until March. I would say start securing your profits from anywhere between February, March, April. You want to be getting out and securing some of those profits. I'm not telling you to sell your entire bag. I can't look into the future, but if you at least take out your initial investment and then some, you're going to be in a really good position for the next cycle. So I just want to make sure that that's nailed to the ground so that you can understand what's happening, because it's going to get really bullish. You're going to have a lot of money in your portfolio. You probably have more than you ever thought you could have. And it's important to stay calm. You have to trade with a cool head. You have to set up those exit strategies with a cool head. You don't want to be too bullish. You want to be conservative, and you want to sell wherever you said you were going to sell. If you keep moving up your target, you're going to end up switching your strategy every 5 minutes, and that always leads to bad things. That always leads to a to a loss, which means you're going to crash, and you're going to have to wait through that entire crash for us to start going back up again. Now, in terms of, again, Bitcoin going back down to $87,000, that is a possibility. $78,500 is another possibility for us. This is the weekly. If we open up the daily chart, as you can see, the 20 EMA is being held as support. I would say the 55 EMA on the daily is going to be another good area for you to look at. The 55 EMA on the daily, I don't have it on this chart, but you can add it and monitor the 55 daily EMA, because that is usually a pretty strong support. Thank you, Pentarus, for joining the live stream. And our patron, Overty, hi Hazi, good day. Can you have a look at Rose? What do you think? All-time high. Let's take a look at Rose. I do hold Rose. I don't know if I have it here in this. I don't have it in this watch list. Okay, that's not the one. Binance. Let's go with the Binance chart. Again, look at Rose. It's in the overbought on the daily. Like if you enter down here at 5 cents, you might want to secure some profits, maybe take out your initial investment. Especially if you have a large bag, you definitely want to be taking out your initial investments. Okay, so we broke out above this resistance. Very nice. Printed a higher low. So with our Elliott wave, what we could start doing here is kind of want to start there, but we have that low. So we have our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and our wave 5 potentially taking us up to the previous all-time high at 52 cents. At the moment, this is what I'm seeing. Now, as long as wave 3 is bigger than wave 1 or wave 5, just one of those, that is a valid one. Actually, this is not a valid one. This is not a valid Elliott wave count, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. So look at this wave 1 high here, and look at the wave 4 correction. So if the wave 4 goes below the wave 1, so if wave 4 dips below wave 1 top, that invalidates the whole structure. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be switching this up. So we're going to do 1. This is our 2. Now we're looking for our 3, 4, and 5. And let's go to cryptorank.com and let's take a look at the dilution for Oasis Rose, because I want to make sure that the supply hasn't been diluted too much since the last cycle, because if it has, then that means we're going to need different market caps for the same prices. So the market cap at the all-time high was sitting at $2 billion roughly. $2 billion. So a 2x from here would put us at 26 cents. Okay, so essentially we're sitting at almost $1 billion market cap. A 2x from here, more or less, would put us at, let's say 28 cents, 29 cents. That's around a half, that's around 50% of the all-time high. So $2 billion market cap would put us at half of the previous all-time high price, even though the previous all-time high price was sitting at $2 billion market cap. Now, why is this happening? Because of token dilution. You have token unlocks. We had a pretty aggressive token unlock vesting schedule from January 2022 all the way into January 2020. Essentially, yeah, November 2024. Now it's going to be a little less steep, but still there will be token unlocks. So for us to get back up to the same price, we'd need double the market cap. So we'd need a $4 billion market cap. That's a 4x from the current prices. Can Oasis do a 4x from here? I would say that's possible. That's like a 355%, even more than a 4x, slightly more than a 4x. And then what you would be looking at if, let's say, we got to the 1.272 is an $8 billion market cap for Oasis. Do you think that's possible? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I would be more conservative. I would be targeting the all-time high for Oasis. But again, some things might change. We might have a bullish partnership, a bullish announcement, and things start going parabolic for Oasis. So at least by the time you get to the previous all-time high, I would suggest you have your initial investment out at the very least, and then let the rest ride. You know, if you get to $1 to an $8 billion market cap, perfect. But if not, you know, you still took out your initial investment. Now, with this Elliott wave structure, as you can see, wave 4 is going to be higher than wave 1, hopefully. That's the idea. So we'll have our parabolic wave 3, wave 4, and then our wave 5. Once you're in wave 5, you have to be very careful. Bitcoin right now is in wave 5. So this is where you're starting to get closer to the top. And just because your coin hasn't hasn't necessarily reached your target that you wanted it to reach, does not mean that it hasn't reached its cycle top. You have to understand that, because your emotions are going to want to play with you. They're going to tell you, no, this is going to keep going higher because you wanted to sell at 50, so it has to go to $50. But sometimes that's not, well, most of the times that's not how these things play out. So I would say 52 cents as for the all-time high is very doable for Oasis. After that, we'll have to wait and see. I would say if wave 3 takes us to 52 cents, and by the time we get to March, maybe January, February, then there's a good chance we might see a new all-time high for Oasis. If this wave 3 is going to conclude somewhere at 30 cents, 35 cents, then we have our wave 4 and then our wave 5. It's possible we're not getting a new all-time high for Oasis. So it depends on how bullish wave 3 is going to be. Hopefully that breaks it down very, very nicely. Cliche says, I suspect there are a group of people that have sell orders for when Trump takes the throne, and Bitcoin will give us a massive shakeout when those sell orders are triggered, all before the main event. That is possible. That is possible. But I do think there's a lot of things that will probably reverse that and counter that, with the Treasury announcement from Bitcoin, where they're going to be buying 200,000 Bitcoin every single year, with Tesla accepting Bitcoin as payments for their Tesla cars. That would be massive. Potentially China unbanning Bitcoin at the start of the year. That would also be a very bullish signal. So even if we do have a correction because the inauguration is going to be seen as some sort of a sell the news type of event, I don't think that retracement, that pullback, is going to last for a very long time. Let's go back to Bitcoin's chart from January 2021 and let's see how that played out. So this is, okay, there we go. So this is January. This is January 4th, 2021. So this is January. We suffered a 30% pullback in January. No pullbacks in December, but a 30% pullback in January. After that, we went up into February. February 15th, we had another 26% pullback. We went into March. In March, we had a 20% pullback. Then we went into April. We had a 26% pullback with a quick bounce. We bounced back up, printed a lower high, and then from there we dumped. And that was our dump into the summer. We stayed throughout the summer. We stayed in this small falling wedge here, but we could be having these corrections. So that's why I'm saying you want to start taking some of your initial investments out, at least for some projects. So it's looking pretty similar. Look, we had a bit of a retracement here in November. We had the same thing. December, we might continue pumping. And then January, after the inauguration, we could see a retracement, just like we had a retracement here. And January 2020, which is the previous election year, where was that? Okay, that was over here. Well, we saw a 10-11% retracement in January, so it wasn't. I got wrecked in the Feb one. That's what gives me the heebies. So the February one was my first big one. That February correction was my first big correction in crypto. And I thought it was game over because I was still like less than 6 months into the market. So I was still a newbie and I was like, wow, that was my first massive correction. And I thought I was never getting out. But of course, with experience, you learn how to navigate the markets a little bit better, how to think of the markets. And yeah, the rest is history. But thank you for the super chat, Swissarg. Sorry. Thanks so much for the EGLD analysis. Much obliged. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, Z. I'll leave at wave 3 and rose since 3 cents. Oh, nice. Nice. So you're in pretty early. You were in pretty early. All right. So I think we're running a little bit. 44 minutes. I think we're going to have to start wrapping up, guys. because I do have to get going. But it's been very, very nice having you. And we'll do an update on our $10,000 portfolio tomorrow. I'll show you where I'm going to put the rest of the funds that I have. So we have around $2,000 to put into these coins here, and maybe we'll dollar cost average into some of them, or maybe we will, hold on, okay, so I accidentally bought more Mina instead of selling it. Okay, so I have to click sell here. 757 and 6. There we go. So we sold our Mina and we made some money. All right, perfect. So I'll do an update on this, and anyone who has any requests, unfortunately, we won't have enough time to cover everything else. We tried to prioritize the patrons, but stick around for tomorrow. We'll have another live stream, probably a little bit earlier. I would say around 2 p.m. Eastern, we'll start. And I'll obviously give an update in the patrons Telegram chat and in the open Telegram chat. And make sure to check out our Patreon. The link is down below in the description. Like I said, we only have a few places remaining for the Crypto Maniac tier, which is our top slot. And if you want more one-on-one connection, and if you want me to go through your portfolio and help you out on a weekly basis, then make sure to join that. We only have 5 spots left, guys. I'm getting very busy right now with our Patreon. So if you want to still catch a slot there, make sure you do that. And yeah, that should be it. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, guys. Thank you for joining, and have a great evening.